Live dance. Guys! Oh, thank you, Jen! Jen is joining us from Canada because we can't all be in one.
What's up, eh? No.
exciting and a little crazy because I've never had so many people on my Twitch. Yes. Welcome.
We're going to break it.
Yes, we're going to break it down. There are tons of people in the chat. Thank you so much. I've seen some of the fun questions that have come up, including what would our Care Bear stomach badge be, which we'll get into that soon.
Yes. What's a Care Bear?
Oh, what?
So
can it say like I'm dead inside?
Oh my god!
Okay,
I hope there are 12-year-olds.
Scare bear.
It's a scare bear. So for all the youngins in the chat, please have a parent nearby. There is
Do
one.
not have your parents nearby.
NSFW.
Yes.
So guys, these are some of the most incredible voice actors that I have encountered in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Hello, Pop.
Look at Jen roll her eyes.
Please.
These are ladies that I look up to incredibly, and I'm so excited to have them all in one space. We're missing Anjali Bimani, who is in Europe, España currently, but we have Jen Hale, Sissy Jones, Courtney Taylor, Grizia Bajos, and Carolina Rosa. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So, what the box? Nice. You tell us. We're so excited.
So here's the deal.
Yes.
The six of us, including Anjali, who's not here, we're talking the other day, and we were sharing tips and tricks with each other, and we realized, like, there's nothing out here kind of like this right now, and so we wanted to start, hopefully, a monthly chat. Hopefully, if we can pull it off, I don't know.
Depends on how it goes today, so
tell your friends.
Yeah, don't have it up.
We wanted to get together and have conversations so we could share stuff.
Yeah.
Cheese.
Yeah.
And wine, absolutely.
The good stuff and the tough stuff, right? Like, because it's not always pretty, right? That's the one thing I think people forget. There's good days and bad days.
We're always pretty. The stuff inside isn't always pretty, and we gotta keep it in check. Yeah, right.
I'm only on camera up to here. The rest of me is like, woo! No.
Tell me your pantless. Where are we? We're in someone's home and we're drinking rosé. So that's a good start. Jen, I hope you have a glass of something nearby.
I have my binky.
Yes. First of all, Jen might not say the whole time because she has some stuff happening. She's a very busy lady. Yes. First of all, I would like to ask Jen, you, since I met you and I learned that you had the Guinness Book of World Records of most voices in video games.
Female voices.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
And some male voices.
But I want to give Steve Bloom his due. He has the dude side.
Right, he's a great dude. Yeah, we don't want to.
But I feel like you've done boy voices, and that's captured in there too, right? So it's not female voices; it's
a female
who has voice, right?
That's true. Great point, Courtney Taylor.
Otherwise, it makes it seem like you don't voice boys, which I know you do.
I do, but only every now and then, if I have to.
12-year-olds. Can we? I want to start first with a question of some advice, and then I'd love to highlight what you are doing that is helping all voice actors all over the world. You have given me a lot of advice in my life, and I was wondering if what is that one or two pieces of advice that you've held on to for the last decade or more that somebody at some point said, and everyone gives advice, but we hold on to some things tighter than others. What is that one thing that you feel like you always try to go back to because it keeps you sane?
There's a couple of little tiny collection of benchmarks that keep me sane and happy. Be kind to yourself. Number one. And Courtney, I love you.
I'm really alive, but I was just making.
Yeah. Be kind to yourself. Have a good time. Like, don't forget, this is supposed to be fun. Oh, hello, Insta-Live. What's up? I should be doing that. Be kind to yourself. It's supposed and have a good time. This is supposed to be fun. And also remember, have that checklist of acting basics when you're working on something. And the other thing is, and this actually goes back to this group, there's no such thing as competition. The only thing to ever compete with is the last version of yourself in a good, friendly way. Competition doesn't exist. There's plenty of work out there for all of us. Every single one of us could audition for the same role, and we would all do a phenomenal audition, and they would have an embarrassment of riches to pick from, and it will land wherever it's meant to land, and there is plenty more to come.
Hell yeah.
Gratitude is a huge one. When you die, you're not going to remember you're not going to lay on your deathbed going, that role was so great. You're going to remember these kind of moments. Like I hung out with my friends. I petted my dog. I went outside, you know.
We had some rosé.
I had some hot water. That's what you're going to remember.
Round of this piece of advice we've held on to.
You should drink every time I give advice.
Okay.
She knows me. She's like, oh no, you won't ever shut up about that.
All right, Connor, what's your piece of advice?
Oh my goodness. I hadn't thought about my answer. I was hoping you guys would hop on that first. Guys, I'm thinking. We're getting there.
What makes you happy?
Well, yeah, no, but I do think that one of the things that stuck with me was living in New York. I was like pounding the pavement and hitting auditions, and like I was so desperate and so in need of booking that job that I was bombing all of them. And one of my great director friends was like, sometimes you just need to back off and just be, right? Because we're not supposed to act, we're just supposed to be, right? And I remember thinking, but the more I try, the more I'm going to succeed. And I think that sometimes we just gotta like let it go and relax. And that's when like our best work's going to come. And that's when we're going to be happiest, right? And not be like, we can't hold on with our fists so tightly or something, because eventually our hands are just going to like give in. Do it.
Okay. It's from Dallas Dreamers. When you attach yourself too tightly to how your dreams unfold, you run the risk of strangling that very dream to death. So you have such a tight hold on something that you're not allowing the life universe, your own, just to open itself up to you and see what other wonderful avenues it could take you. You're so focused on it's got to look like that, it's got to look like that, it's got to look like that you're not letting it breathe. You're going to strangle it. I did that too, by the way.
Yeah,
I did.
I think
we've all done that.
We all do it. Yeah.
One time, and he was like, "You are so desperate to book. I smell it in your slate," which is the part where you say your name. And he
Or you say your name.
And he said, "Nobody hires desperation. If I smell it, they smell it. Nobody hires desperation." And that was a really big wake up call for me. And he was absolutely right. He was absolutely right.
Yeah. Is that
Amen.
That's one of them. I think the other one is, you know, your job is not to do the job well, because by the time you get to the job, you're getting paid. Your job is to audition well, and that requires training and time and patience and training and more training and equipment and training
and training and coaching and training.
It ain't cheap and it ain't overnight, but it's worth every minute.
Yeah. Beats, yeah. Besides quoting Dallas Travers.
I know, I love that quote.
Because sometimes it's your grandma just going like, make sure you wear clean underwear every day. I don't know. Like, and then it sticks. Like, what is it that like makes you wake up and go, I can do this?
Oh, God, it's hard. I'm like, I feel like you said that in a file cabinet of things. Just like, yeah. I think one of the biggest things that I have is in a lot of my bios, and I will translate, but it's a Cuban saying, lo que está para ti, nadie te lo quita, which is what's meant for you, no one can take it away.
Bam.
So I love that one. So instead of coming, it's kind of in the same vein of not feeling like, like you mentioned, Jen, you know, the comparison or the competition with other people. What's meant for me is for me. What's meant for you is for you. What's meant for you and everything. And that's why it's like coming from that place of abundance. And what's meant for you, nadie te lo quita. Nobody could take that away. So just go in full heart, you know, full soul, full spirit, and do your best. Work hard at it, but also let it go, let it breathe, and live your life. Don't make everything about acting, because that's gonna lift up your acting life instead of having everything acting and then
Courtenay.
What was the question?
She's like, where's the light? What's the one piece of advice? Because this isn't like, let's give advice. It's like, what's that one thing that struck you and it was like, oh, and you've held on to?
Well, I always say no is just yes to a different question.
Oh.
So, sometimes you just have to rephrase. It's like when you get on the phone with the airlines and they won't let you switch your flight, and then you just hang up and you can call back. So
Just talk to somebody else.
Talk to somebody else. Maybe you'll get what you want. Also, my mantra is, it's a beautiful day in LA and anything can happen. And it's true because, and this can be, you don't have to be in LA, but that, you know, every day is a possibility. So I just try and kind of keep a clean slate because you just never know what's going to happen. But also, it's really hard not to be petty and worry and things like that. And when I feel like that sort of goblin of envy on my shoulder, I make sure to, I mean, my friends are the shit. And so like, you can't be like, my tribe are the people that I read against all the time and that I lose jobs to a lot. And so, but it is like forced grace sometimes where I'm like, okay, you know what, when you start getting that little voice in your ear that says, oh, somebody's getting something that I'm not, you got to dig in deep and celebrate other people and like wholeheartedly, like just turn the car around and I will find ways to do that of like reaching out to my friends and telling them that I love them or celebrating something that they're doing or because I think it's impossible to not get that sometimes. This is a job that every day is another day and you're always unemployed. And so it's hard not to be nervous. But if you can get a super great crew of people around you to support you, a rising tide lifts all boats. And also, you know, like it's going to be your turn. And so celebrate your friends' successes and be generous and kind as much as you can and be gentle with yourself when you can't. And just know that like that's human too. And just turn your car around and try and get back to that.
For example, and I know we've talked about this. I have been recast in a game by Courtney, and she did a tremendous job on the character.
I did not recast her.
No,
It wasn't her doing it.
I did not.
They recast.
Yeah.
They did. They picked her, and she was amazing, and she did an incredible job with it. And it was great.
I did not know it was
She
her.
just gotta keep it. And that's the other thing too. We don't know. Like we're just brought in. Half the time we don't even know we've been fired until we hear it on the air, and we're like, oh, I guess
that wasn't me.
Okay.
That's how I
But everyone gets, I mean, I've gotten recast many, many times and and it sounds like, I think it's always easier when you're working to be like, well, you know, another job will come along because I remember moving to LA and there was no other job coming along and I was a waitress and I was crying in my car every day and you know every no was just a death knell. But I also believe that it's super important to diversify within your acting so that you, even if you get a bunch of no's, maybe you get a yes to a student project or, you know, just the yeses. It doesn't even necessarily matter how big they are, but you got to get some yeses. So set up your life so that both within your work, you're getting some yeses. And if you're not getting yeses, make sure you're getting yeses in your life. Like what Krizia said is, I am terrible at doing anything but working. And so I am, starting to ask for things. Like people asked what I wanted for my birthday, and I was like, I want a museum pass. I want to go and force myself to do stuff because I am a very monofocused person, and it's like the things that make you really good at your job also make you. There are pluses and minuses to everything, right?
Absolutely.
So make sure that you
Save something for yourself.
And like just like plan stuff that can be a yes. Make stuff with your friends or just go after stuff that's a slam dunk so that you can feel like you've got wind under your wings all the time. Because if you just put all your eggs in one basket of like, I'm just going to do on camera, and if I don't make on camera, then I've seen so many people leave here. So because that's all they wanted and they choked the crap out of it.
Yeah, you choke it, basically.
Also,
Strangled it to death, but I like your version better.
I think it's important to also like check yourself on what you reward yourself for. If you're only rewarding yourself for getting the job or winning that thing that you're after, whatever your career path is, then like you have no control over that. If you reward yourself for showing up in your own head, like, man, I showed up today, yay me, like, and tick that box. The tiny successes, there's a million of them every day. You showered, you got out of bed sometime, yeah, well, okay, yeah. I'm not going to go there, but you reward I'm alone. I'm alone in a booth, who cares? No, but that's the real reason I'm staying home. No, kidding. What you reward yourself for, how you treat yourself, that's the bottom line, right?
The laundry is a huge one. I'm just reading them.
Right?
I saw a question go by earlier from Z. Hello, Z. If you guys have not seen Z Andrews on TikTok and Twitter, she's doing the NSFW Owl House scenes where she replaces all the dialogue with like F-bombs. It is hilarious.
My God.
Z was asking, how do we stay sane in LA? Because it can be overwhelming. It absolutely can. But I will tell you, I am originally from Boise, Idaho. It's a real small town, not a lot going on. She doesn't believe me, but it's true. Find your neighborhood. Find the neighborhood in LA that you want to be in and start there. The great thing is, in Burbank area, a bunch of studios are nearby. Santa Monica, a bunch of studios are nearby. So if you kind of pick one of those spots and you make your home, you can start exploring the different neighborhoods. They all have like a fun, funky little like downtown area. I fell in love with Studio City when we first moved here. Or before we moved here, when I came to visit, I went to Tahunga Avenue in Studio City, and I was like, oh my God, this place is so freaking cute.
You're like, oh my God, I totally need like an overpriced latte. Right.
It's
a piece of pie for a total.
So I did that like everywhere I lived in LA. I lived there for 29 years, and everywhere I lived, I was always like a 5 or 10 minute walk from a massive swath of outdoors. Like sometimes a 2 minute walk, but I was always right near outside, and I made sure I defined my life by anything but my career.
Yeah. I was looking at the chat. Meow, indeed, you had a great question, which I'll ask later. Chip Beeman's in the house.
Chip and Ash Seville is in the house. What?
Guys, there's 108 people right now. That's super exciting. Thank you so much for being here. This is amazing. There are some really great questions in the chat. I'm making note of them. And if you have, we're not going to necessarily go into like how you go into voice acting, because we talk about it so much. I want to like go into some deeper shit today. And currently, I want to shout out what Jen is doing with Skills Hub, because it's an incredible endeavor and you've been working your butt off and it's helping other voice actors. So could you please break it down for us?
Yeah, okay, so the URL is acting.skillshub.life, and I'm super proud of it. It came to be because as a working actor, like, we audition blind. We're at home in our booths with no guidance of any kind, right? And as a beginning actor too, and I thought, geez, I wish I could just get somebody I trust on the phone for 10 minutes who's on the other side. Like, either they've done it a lot, or they're a casting person or a director, and they can just tell me if I'm on or off, because it's been radio silence for a week or two, whatever. And so it was that. And then also for people who've never done it before, who just want to dip their toe in for a minute. Maybe they don't have the bank right now for a class or the time or whatever. They can just come in and for 10 minutes hit up some, like, one of their voiceover heroes and get some coaching for 10 minutes about how do I do this. Kritzia, Sissy, you guys are part of such amazing experts, and you're on the site, and it's extraordinary. What? Who said that?
I said, I emailed you about it.
That's right. We're going to have a sit down, because I need to actually dig in and understand. The cool news, we're in our beta period right now. So membership, which is only $12.99 a month, is free for 2 more weeks. Just come on in and check it out. And the cool thing is we've built this whole hub. Like, we wanted to have killer coaches, which we've got people who've worked on AAA stuff in animation, games, you name it, anything in voice acting. And then we've also got a bunch of people who are there for the total new people to coach them as well. But we made this whole hub, this whole members hub, where I'm recording interviews with every one of our coaches and asking questions like, okay, you listen to 200 auditions. What has you listened more than 7 seconds? What do you wish actors would stop doing when they send auditions to you? Stuff like that. And that's a whole library that's available for everybody. So yeah, and we did like 50 or 60 beta tests going through this whole thing, and several of you who are beta testers, thank you so much. Yes, thank you. And I'm super excited about it. It's acting.skillshub.life, and go check it out. And I'm just in love with it, because we want to break down barriers. We're developing, actually, if anybody out there is a creator of content. Like, if you're just starting out in your, desk in the corner building a game or making an animated show, and you need to find like new voice actors who are looking to build their resume, we've built this thing called an opportunity board. And if you just go to our website and click need an actor, it'll have a whole place to drop in your job, and we're going to start posting it to new actors. So
Is there one thing about Jennifer Hale, everybody here, is that this woman gives back.
thank you.
She is one of the most successful women in this industry, and she is constantly giving back, always.
Hey, too, my friends. Thank you.
A lot been said for hogging success, but Jesus, giving it back and helping people and coming to it with an open heart. This one is one of the best.
Thank you. You right back at you guys. Right back at you, my friend.
Take constructive criticism. I sent my very crappy demo to Jen when I met her at a con, and I wanted feedback, and she goes, "It's fine. I've seen you perform live, and you're a million times better. So like, get a demo that shows me that." And I was like, "But I don't want to re-record it. I don't want to." And inside, I'm going, "No." But I listened because she was right, and like just being able to go, "Oh no, like get away from your get out of your own way, and like do the work." And so I had to like prep for a freaking demo and pay some good money and not make a free.
But was it worth it?
100%. I sent
was waiting. I was like, oh no.
I sent that demo to Dan Povenmire, who created Phineas and Ferb, and he calls me on the phone, and I thought he was going to cancel our lunch meeting that we were going to talk. This was years ago. Carolina, I listened to your demo, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to say thank you, but I can't do our meeting. And he goes, I haven't heard a demo like that in a really long time.
Yes. See, and I remember that. I remember like meeting you and being blown away by the amazing, not just a lovely, fun, like we went to the zoo together in Australia, hung out with my kid. Like, I remember not just be the delightful human being and the really cool person, but just the vast array of talent and the range. Like, range is a good thing to have. And then when I listened to your reel, I was like, oh, I was torn. I was like, oh, do I just go, yeah, it's good. And I was like, but she, and the voice inside was like, no, you have to tell her. And I'm like, oh, okay.
But that's the thing, right? Like, don't settle in any part of your life. Like, listen, this goes for like my life in voiceover and outside of voiceover. I have found when I am doing the wrong thing, I butt my head up against a steel wall time and time and time again, and I keep trying to blaze through it, and some obstacle consistently presents itself until I step back and go, okay, wrong path, find another way, and it comes together like a zipper. Yep. Right? That's the way it was for me for voiceover. I used to work in corporate. Like, I have a degree in business and Spanish. I do not have an acting background. I jumped into voiceover on a whim because I always thought it sounded fun. And it just worked, right? Same thing with my husband. Like,
I jumped into my husband
on a whim.
No, listen, I dated a lot of idiots. They weren't great. They didn't treat me great. I met this wonderful human, and we got married, and it was so it's
two
easy.
wonderful humans.
Yeah. Yes. So like pay attention to the signs. Don't make it harder than it has to be in anything.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That's more personal information than I'd like to give out.
Yeah.
My glasses on.
Oh, here, you want to look at this one? Oh, or is that a pain for you? Is that
That's
too
also
small?
no.
Oh, sorry. Ooh, I don't know if I can make this bigger.
Can you click it? Since we have we have Jen there.
We're figuring it out.
I mean, not that we don't need two.
Oh, how do
Jens,
I don't know how to make it bigger. What do I do? I do that. Tech people.
I just saw a question. Can I hit up a question that I saw in the chat?
Yeah.
It's asking about responding better to positive or negative feedback, and they know actors who fall apart if the engineer says you can do that better. As an actor, you got to learn to take nothing personally and validate yourself. People need to be able to say whatever they need to say to you, because they're dealing, that voice director or that producer or whoever it is dealing with this massive load of stuff behind them that you have known nothing about. So what comes at you, instead of like, yeah, okay, let's just go again. They could have gotten some terrible news from behind that glass. It has nothing to do with you, but we take it so personally, and nothing is personal.
Yes,
absolutely. Well, that was one of my next questions.
Segue.
Yeah. Has there been a moment where you are at a callback or a booking where you're in the zone and you think you're doing well, and then either the director's a horrible director or just goes, do it better, or they're giving you direction but it's unclear and you start feeling like you're bombing, or it's a booking and it's not going the right way. Like, what have you done to turn that around and get back in control, or ask for clarification? Or I just feel like there's sometimes when, even as professionals, we're doing something and we think it's going right, and then all of a sudden it's not. Like, what's been a good pivot? It's happened.
I mean, I remember I was on, it was the first time I ever met Kari Wahlgren. I was doing an episode of, I don't remember what one of her early, like, series was, but I was blown away by her. She was so wonderful. But I was a guest, like, that was one of the villainous. What's that?
She's okay. She's all right.
Yeah. I was like playing a recurring villainess. It was the first time though. I go through the entire scene and I'm chewing up the scenery because I could with that character. And I do the whole thing in this vein and this kind of a voice. I did the entire scene. And they come on the talk back. They go, okay, that was really fun. They go, she's 16. I was like, oh, let's go again. Got it. Okay, not a problem. I'll do it all again, only younger. It was just like, oh, it was so embarrassing. But, you know, in terms of those moments, sometimes for me, it comes out of who's directing us, right? Like sometimes it's somebody who's really good at communicating with actors, or some of our director friends are very abrupt, but they're clear and they know what they want. And then some people don't know how to direct actors and they're like, yeah, let's just get another one. And what I do then is I start asking, I go to zero. I go to dead zero. No, it is a no judgment zone when I work. No judgment of them, no judgment of me, no judgment of the material, no judgment of anything. And I just go to zero and I start asking questions. Okay, so what, if I'm going to do another one, what should I add to it? What do you want me to take away? Like, and I say, I'm never offended by line reads. Can you share with me what's in your head? Mm-hmm. Kind of what's in your head that you can hear? And then I can find my way in that way. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think it goes back to also what you were saying earlier is don't take it personally. Like it's never a personal attack if they're like, that wasn't what we had in our head. We want to hear something different. Because a lot of times they don't know what they want. And so we are there to help them flesh out an idea they might have, an idea they've never had, propose something they didn't even think about. But there are times that it can get in your head, and it's when that has happened to me is when I usually fall back on, okay, I'm here for a reason. I've done my homework. I know I'm good at being here. So this has nothing to do with me. This has something to do with what's happening on the other side of the glass. I need to remember my confidence and find a way to get this character to what they want it to be. And if it's not me, it's not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still do get really nervous during like callbacks and things like that. Like I had a callback for She-Ra, not to be She-Ra, but to be one of the other characters. And I wet myself because I grew up on She-Ra, right? And I didn't get it, obviously. And it broke my heart, but I was so nervous walking into that. But then I walked out just being like, holy shit, I just had a callback for She-Ra. Like, that's a pretty good feather in the cap. I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you've just gotten that far already is letting you know you're doing something good for them to want you there. And maybe it's not that, it's another one, right?
Yeah.
It's
At that point, I call that kiwis and tangelos, right? Like they're making a salad and it's just, they're both great fruits. Which one do they want for the salad? It's not personal. You know,
kiwis and what?
Tangelos.
I was gonna see before. I was like fruits.
I know. I was like apples and pears. No, kiwis and tangelos.
Tangelos.
Are we out? Sometimes some of us, we're all pretty out far of the box. You know, maybe we're dragon fruit.
I love it.
Jackfruit, you know, who knows? But guava, I should say papaya or guava. I don't know. Sissy, you reminded me of something which is so often in our head. Whatever we're making up that they're thinking about us, it's always rooted in our own opinion of ourselves.
Oh my God.
Like, I bet there's people.
Great story about that.
Yeah.
So he got tired of going into the booth and seeing them be like, yeah, Bob, that was great. Like making these, gestures that he couldn't understand what they were saying. So he put a tape recorder in his backpack and left it in the control room. He went into the booth.
Oh my God.
And they were like, yeah, Bob, that was great. Just give us a minute. Are you kidding? You want anchovies on your pizza? That is disgusting. No. Oh, it's terrible. Talking about
God.
Did that once.
not talking about him at all.
Yep. That's Chris Zimmerman's tuna sandwich story that she shares in her class, which was, like they're same thing. They're talking to you and they're like, no, I asked for the tuna, not the turkey. Okay, let's go again.
What's wrong with anchovies? So someone just asked, what do you do for voice acting if you have anxiety? We are humans who have anxiety. We have callbacks. We have, especially.
You know what I'm going to say? Go to Skills Hub. All the coaches are really kind. Breathe. You know what? I used to do, put yourself in situations that trigger your anxiety on a regular basis. Practice being with your anxiety. Practice loving yourself through it. Stop thinking you shouldn't have it first. Take that first layer of the onion off. Accept yourself that was my thing when I woke up this morning, the bulletin that came to me. Accept people exactly where they are. Accept yourself exactly where you are. And just accept that you have anxiety. Stop fighting it and just sit with it and go be in situations and places where you're used to being with it. So when you go to the voice acting beginning or wherever you're at, you're used to it. You're like, oh yeah, hey friend, come on, let's do this together, and use it. You don't have to not be you. This is my new thing. It's so every human out there, listen to me. Listen to me. You are the only one of you on the planet. And I know you've heard that before, but listen to me. You are literally the only one. You are actually the only one. Please don't be anyone else. There's only one of you. One day you'll be extinct. Be you.
Yes, we will be extinct.
Yeah.
I was thinking about a callback I had recently where I knew the creator and the casting director and the writer, they're friends. And I walked out of that audition and my hands were doing this. But it was because I was so in the zone that I was just vibing. I booked the motherfucker. But I remember thinking, that's so weird. I wasn't intimidated by them. I was just excited to be there and literally doing my best work. And sometimes that is it, you're so connected that you're don't let them see that I'm friendly, but I'm here and everything's sweaty. Yeah.
You know what? I love that you all are sharing this. We have somebody in the chat, Heather, who is a scout at voiceover camp. And what's great about Heather is that when we start workouts or workshops, she'll check her phone and be like, yep, my BPM, my heart rate right now, it's through the roof, 170 or something like that. And she struggles with anxiety, but she's fighting through it. And that's the thing. You just got to, okay, that's what I've got. Let's keep working on this, because the more you do it, the less it's going to feel so heavy and crazy to run. And like you see here, even for us that do this every single day, there's still going to be those that is going to get you kind of in a tailspin. It happens. We're normal. We're human beings. We get excited about something. There was a job that I was up for. It was a very, very big role. I was nervous. I was excited. The director is a friend of mine. And when we had a demo, so it's kind of like a callback. They're trying you out for a little bit. And when we had our first break, he calls me immediately. He's like, hey, you're not being you. What's going on? I'm like, okay, thank you. And he's like, hey, you're good. Just do your thing. Just be who you are. And I was disappointed in myself that I wasn't being my full self. And I didn't book that one, but they loved me for another role on there. So I did book something else in the game, but it was a great lesson for me. And I'm glad when I go through things like this, because it reminds me. It's good reminders, to be like, hey, why did I psych myself out for trying to be something that I thought they wanted? They're looking for me, or you know what I'm saying? It's the other way around.
That's it. God, Chrissy, that's so it. Bring you in there, because that's actually what they're looking for. And if they're not, if you're not have the right puzzle piece for this puzzle, but they need to know what your puzzle is. Bringing yourself forth is everything. Just you. To show up as you. And maybe we can all mind that in our real lives where we're inauthentic or sell ourselves out, because it all backs again into that belief that it's something besides me that's enough. Nope. It's you that's enough.
So I have a really personal question, and you can decide not to answer.
Let's do it, baby.
What would your Care Bear stomach have on it?
Mine would have a boot going through a glass, whatever. Mine would have a boot going through a barrier.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Wait a second.
Crossbones, of course.
Okay. I was like,
Maybe fangs.
oh, that's great.
Things are good.
No fangs.
What was yours, Courtney?
Fangs or a skull and crossbones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a fan of the witch triple moon. It's on my.
Oh,
I can get it off, but
I got you, sissy. I got you.
yeah, girl.
Alicia?
Mira.
Yes, yes.
Guys, we did have a request to see the doggy, and here we
That's
are.
one of them.
Well, the one that was making the noises, the snoring.
Lulu.
The marker in the beginning, that was Bliss.
Oh, I thought it was Lulu. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Lulu.
Guys, she snores really loud, and we always hear her when we're on Zoom calls.
It's a bubble.
Occasionally.
It's a bubble dog.
You fart, Courtney? No, it's the dog.
Just the dog.
Yes, the dog.
I love it when people are like, "Can you fall asleep?"
I'm like, I'm right here. You can see
Eyes open. Next, you're one of those people that can't fall asleep, their eyes open, just like,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
This is Lulu. She's always very interested in what's going on, so
she's adorable.
You guys want to?
Chrissy, what was your badge? I missed your badge.
She's thinking about it.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So right now, to be 100% frank, I do have Cuba on my mind a lot right now. So I would probably have Patria y Vida, which, so for those of you who don't know, usually the mantra for Cuba, especially under the communist regime, is Patria o Muerte, which is country or death. And we don't believe that. We say country and life. So we're trying to change that and say Patria y Vida. So I would say Patria y Vida, and Care Bear steer that shit all the way in there. So
I was just watching an amazing Instagram story from a guy about that. It was something.
Yeah.
I posted it on my feed if you want to read it, people out there. It's pretty darn informative. Yeah.
and this is Bliss.
I wish I could lift my girl up, but she's 75 pounds now.
this is Bliss. She is the dog that Ali Hillis made me adopt.
Oh.
Do not ever go to a dog rescue.
But then you will come out with the dog.
Because you won't come away with the dog.
Yeah.
A very lovely dog.
It's like going to the grocery store hungry. Don't do it.
That's right. Well, I don't know how hungry I was, but I definitely yeah. Allie's like, I've got a dog for you, and I was like, I don't know, I'll go meet her. Cut to like 20 minutes later, I tell her in the car, let's do this.
That's why Courtney has 7 dogs right now, guys. She just picks them up.
Worst breath.
Oh my gosh, we are going to shout out the subscriptions at the end with these lovely ladies and fun voices. So thank you, Hikari, but I will thank you later again. I have another fun question.
One thing though, I just want to say, like, anxiety applies everywhere in life. I have terrible anxiety all the time. I'm scared about 60% of the time that I do something. And so, work or not work, it's really important to find some things that can help you get to the point where you can not be in like fight or flight. So if that means, talking to a mental health professional and getting some medication, seeing someone on the regular for therapy, any kind of like meditation or just, positive, like guided visualization or anything. I have terrible stage fright. I get nervous speaking in front of people. I'm nervous right now, even saying this. But it is so important to take care of your mental health. I really do believe in like feel the fear and do it anyway. But my fear sometimes is so great that I think it takes a really huge toll. And you don't want to grind yourself down just kind of kicking through everything. If you can get some assistance, to help you walk through life without that kind of those butterflies and stuff. It's so important. And I used to think that I was one of the only people that was like this because I don't act like I'm anxious, but I'm anxious a lot. And so just because someone acts a certain way doesn't mean that they are that way. And just because you may think, oh, I shouldn't be feeling like this, you're entitled to feel however you want. But I urge you, if you have any kind of issues that are stopping you from living your very best life, that you go and you find someone to talk to, you find someone that you can work on some kind of a medication program, yoga, any of that stuff. It's so important. And I think if anything was proven in the last year, mental health is, the key thing to
I am
having a
unstoppable.
life that you want. So I just want to say that I love you and it's never anything to be embarrassed of. Just I urge you to to take the first step and do that.
I think we're all big
Amen.
therapists, right?
Amen.
Who? Therapy.
Yeah, of course.
Therapy.
Oh yeah.
Big fan. Big fan.
Yeah.
I'm like, I always think of it as like, what was that, Court?
After, it's
the deal.
it's part of the deal. I mean, again, everything is a double-edged sword. It's like the things that make you feel things so intensely that you're able to put that forward are the things that make you feel things so intensely that you might kind of hobble yourself. So I also feel like my anxiety and my sadness are great gifts in some of my acting, but I also don't want it to run me. So it's important to be able to, to use it to your advantage, but also not have it run your life.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Amen.
Absolutely. I like that.
I don't know. It's so funny with therapy. I always wonder why more people don't jump on it. Because for me, if I can acquire a shortcut or a level up, like I'm going for it. And that's what it is. Like, yeah, give me those codes. I got to jump off in a minute, but yeah.
Well, so then answer this quick question and then you can jump off.
Right. So Pure Chip Beeman threw a question in there too for us. I want to make sure that was.
Oh, you want to hit that one? Go.
No, I want to hear what you got. What you got?
Well, I want y'all to give me an example of an audition for a character that you went completely against type or did something so not in the description that either made you feel rad and you discovered something crazy cool, or you booked it because of that, where it says like high-pitched princess voice, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna make it sound like this, or whatever. Because I think that sometimes those are the really insanely fun ones. And I was wondering if you had those stories.
When I auditioned for Lilith in the Owl House, the first time I got the audition, they spent a lot of time in the sides talking about how she dyed her hair and she was trying to be someone that she wasn't. She was trying to distance herself from who she was as a child and all of that stuff. So I did it with a Russian accent. And then I started like this, and then when she got flustered, she went straight to her regular accent, you guys. But just because I thought it was funny that she was trying so hard to be not a clawthorn.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Did that stick within the show?
no, but it got me the call back, and I made the call back, and they were like, hilarious. Don't do it. And I was like, and the rest as they say. But yeah, it was great. It was really fun.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, Jen does have to jump off, so I'll let her.
No, I want to hear you, Carol.
Oh,
she's not leaving.
yeah. No,
No, I do have to go. I have to go parent.
this
it's
is one
Saturday.
example. It wasn't for an audition, but I had been called for a character. I worked for Victor and Valentino a bunch on Cartoon Network, and so they just call me once in a while and be like, "Oh, we have this one for you," which I'm so grateful for. And she was this big fat ant, like the queen ant of in the, I was going to call it a molehill, the ant
Anthill.
hill. Thank you. Right.
Go
And usually I show up, I'm like, well, so what do you want? Do you want what are you thinking? And then I'll be like, I was thinking this, and they were like, oh, we wanted to sound like Sofia Vergara, and I'm like, I do her so much, or like a version of her, I dare you, just have to talk like this, and I kind of was like, I said, I imagined her like this big drag queen, so I did this voice like this, and then I gave it an accent, so all of a sudden she's talking like this, and she loves to dance with the other aunt, but she throws him around and stuff, and they were like, oh my God, that's amazing. But I was really glad that I had fiddled with it enough in my brain before showing up and just being like, what do you want? Oh yeah, I'll give you Sophia. It was like, because otherwise I would never do that voice for anything really. And I think she's hilarious like that. And so I was glad that they were receptive to it. And sometimes I throw stuff out and they don't like it, and that's fine. You just move along. But this one I was like, oh, they liked it. Cool. And it was a weird one that I don't often do.
But that's something to remember too, is sometimes when they put that in the specs, we want Sofia Vergara. They get 8,000 Sofia Vergaras. So if you're the one that's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something totally different. It makes them, I call it the shitty sandwich, when the director is eating a shitty sandwich. And when they hear your audition, they go, wait, what? And it makes them put down their shitty sandwich. That's what I always go for.
The shitty sandwich! Yeah.
My favorite one, I was working on, Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platt have this killer show that they did called Shelf Life, where they were superheroes, and Travis and Willingham and Laura Bailey and Liam and Orion, all those guys are in it, and they were all various versions of like action hero toys. And I guested on there as a villainess who is called Killerina. So I was going to make her a Russian because she was a ballerina who was a killer, and I started her down here, and I was going to go that whole road, and then this suddenly occurred to me, what if everything she says is here? And so I didn't tell anybody what I was going to do. And I show up and we went straight to shooting. And I stand there in front of Travis Willingham in his big superhero outfit. And he's a large person. He's a tall man. And I look up at him and I go, hero men. And he goes, and he couldn't keep a straight face. It was really fun. I had the whole time doing that voice was just like absolutely grating on your ears, but it was insanely fun to do. Yeah.
And that's so much more interesting than the typical Russian voice.
Okay, I talk like this, and I am a terrorist. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Well, that reminds me, have you seen the show Hacks?
Yes.
Not yet.
It's funny, and there's a character that is a Russian who could be really annoying and talk down here like this, But instead, she nicest Russian in the world, and you want to kill her because she's talking down here. Everything is so wonderful. And I was like, what an amazing character choice, because it's so much more interesting and fun than I'm going to do this because it's so stereotypical.
To be fair, I had a Russian friend when I first got into voiceover, and she was like, "You want to the Russian accent?" And I said, "Yeah." And she says, and sneered, "Remove joy."
Yes. Yeah. What was the chat question you wanted to answer, Jen?
I don't know. I wanted to make sure I adore Chip. So, Chip. Yeah. So Chip had asked, I think it was, if we weren't doing this, what would we be doing with our lives?
Ooh.
And I would. Oh my God. I just saw the stream feed of that. I'm like, wow. I don't know. I'll answer this and then I'm going to bulk because I do have to get back to my life. I would be doing something involving disaster relief and architecture. And being outside. Yeah.
Lamo. Jen Hale, thank you so much for joining us from Canada.
I love you guys. I love you women. And everyone out there, thank you. Remember, please,
Skills Hub.
acting.skillshub.life. And if you go to HelpNet, look at Help's social media. They have a code. You can get 10% off for 3 months. They have a code. And Kritzia has a code for voice campers as well. So you guys grab a code from Kritzia as well for voice camp. And acting.skillshub.life. And thank you. And please, you matter. Or what's the thing about you? Energy? Never mind. I killed it. Okay. I love you guys. Mwah.
You matter.
Bye. Bye. Thank you, Danny. Bye. Mwah.
Yeah, Danny's the bomb.
Guys,
Guys,
seriously, what would you guys be doing if you weren't doing
what
this?
would you be doing?
I came from another life.
Oh, you're
I
not
just
just
do
do
the other
this.
thing. I'm staying right here. Sorry.
No, come on, honestly. If there just didn't exist, come on.
This is it.
If it
I love
didn't
what I do.
exist, I'm not saying you have to not do this. If it's just you, what else would you be doing if this was not an option?
Because you hated what you did before this.
Right.
So what would you else do? Yeah.
What would you else do?
But I did it. But I jumped.
Okay, so someone else answer because you're not gonna answer.
Okay.
We'll think about it. It could be it could be something really silly, like rollerblading every day on Venice Beach. I don't know, but it could go. Something you like.
I do have a secret power where I am a master organizer, and I take usually family members' closets and I organize them.
My
Those are my
God.
gifts.
What are you doing lately?
When my friends are
in my house
and
She is going to.
I love
We be
organizing
done with this.
closets. That is my thing. If I see a closet, I'm like, I can already see how it's. I'm like, okay, got it, done. And I get excited to do that whole thing where do I toss it? Come on, and I help you declutter.
But not
bring in joy. No, I don't do that.
because I'm like,
Okay, I'm Cuban. I say, we're gonna get rid of this. What have you ordered? Last year? No, it's out, gone. Unless it's a costume you say.
I do that sometimes with my friends, and I always say, if you want to keep this, you have to fight me for it.
Ooh,
You have to explain why you want this. And they're like,
100%.
this is my old sweatshirt from college. It's the only thing I'm like, it may stay.
It may stay, yeah, but
It may stay.
you have to have a firm
Right.
hand on it.
This
you know?
bigger.
Bye,
Try
Ash.
again. Bye, Ash. Marie Kondo.
No,
Well, can I tell you my sister is the same as you, and she's been living with me for a while, and she showed up at my house and reorganized closet, and I call her Maria Condito. And when she cooks for me, I usually do the cooking, but when she cooks. No. It's just Maria Kondo. Maria Kondo. No, it's just Maria. No, it's just Maria Condito. No, it's my Latino version. And then when she cooks for me, I call her Martita Stewart. Martha Stewart. It's just my
version of Martica Stewart. And my husband's on there. He just put, she loves throwing away my shit. I don't throw away your shit. I don't throw it away.
Okay, wait. So what would you be doing?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I have this insane salsa dancing passion. Like
I gotta go dancing.
Well, I love it so much. This pandemic has hit me so hard.
Do you know about the Village in Studio City on Thursday nights? Nana, we're going. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love dancing.
Next, what the fuck?
And I need a dance partner. Like when I go to weddings, like if I don't have someone to dance with, like I'm miserable. Salsa. You could do the other dancing by yourself.
No, you know, it's very particular.
And if I could do it like professionally. Or not, just a hobby, but just all the time.
Yes. I got to Floridita.
That's great.
You and they
Floridita's good. You have a bunch of like old Cuban men are like, well, baila contigo.
Or sometimes they don't even ask you. They literally go, yeah. And they just grab your hand.
But then they're not hitting on you. They're just like, muchas gracias. And then you're done. And you just go have your dance.
Yeah. That's so great. That's so great.
Listen, what would you, so you'd be organizer, you'd be.
I would like to, I mean, the thing that I did before this was waiting tables and running a gym.
No, but you wouldn't do that, would you?
Well, it depends on how much I lose or no, I mean.
But you do like doing your spinning classes, right? You're like an exercise instructor.
But it's like you have an insane body.
People.
I would 1,000% be working for no money for a nonprofit. You know, I mean, I would be doing something either. I would probably the thing that gets me. I have a friend who works for Doctors Without Borders.
Well,
I think yeah,
absolutely,
yeah. But luckily for everyone involved, I'm still working in voiceover because voice acting.
You could help pass the whatever to cut the whatever in the surgery of the thing. If you were going to help Doctors Without Borders, you don't need to be a doctor. You just help me.
No. I am assisting.
Okay. I was like,
I'm like talking like fundraising. Like I have a severe aversion to blood.
Got it. Okay.
She's the planner, the organizer, the
logistics.
Thank you, logistics.
She's a Virgo.
I have a dear friend who does. No, I'm a Cancer.
She's a Cancer who organizes things really well.
What are you?
Gemini.
What are you?
My husband's Gemini. Aquarius.
Oh, Sagittarius. I'm crazy.
My boyfriend's a Sag.
Whoa, we're fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Meow. Indeed, she understands. I forget, Meow. You cut the surgery thing.
I was like, am I cutting a belly button? What's happening?
No. I was like, if I thought you were saying, thank God I am a voice actor and I'm not a Doctor Without Borders because I don't know how to do doctor stuff, but I would like to help nonprofits.
No. See, I didn't get past algebra in high school, so there's no chance of me doing any kind of. There was no math. There was no science.
That's a big thing for me.
So I could totally see working for a nonprofit. Like I think there are a lot of things that I am good at. I also think
huge heart.
I have a huge heart. I also.
Actually, that kind of segues into what someone was talking about. I don't know how to move this because I'm
just scroll up.
professional to this. About animation focusing on more diverse cultures. You went past it.
Whoops! I thought it was way up.
Yeah. Like Carolina in Onyx Equinox.
Hell yeah.
It's the best way of finding more diversity is for the girls. I think, what they keep saying is the big they, is like the more diversity is working in writing, producing, creating, the more they're going to naturally hire people for the jobs.
Top down.
Yeah, like when I recommend people for voiceover because casting doesn't know them, I go, just have a Latino write, and they'll reach out to all their friends who are voice actors, and they'll audition, or Asian, or Arab, or whatever. Like we know our people, so how could we not recommend them? And that's how it goes. I think more and more. I am working on a project where I play a Venezuelan mom, and I was thinking, like, I've never heard a Venezuelan in a cartoon. All I do is audition for Mexican moms. All I do. And I love Mexico, and I love my Mexican moms, but all of South America.
But there's so much.
Is going. Yeah.
How does that work out? Because, like, is it? And I'm gonna maybe sound dumb, but I mean, I feel like, don't you want to, like, kind of, when somebody says, like, oh, it's kind of like they treat the Latinx community like it's a monolith, and, like, don't you want to just be like, yo, like, I mean.
Well, case in point, I think, like, maybe even 10 years ago. Oh, she's Latina. From what country? It doesn't matter. Just give us a Latin accent. So I would do my Puerto Rican and I would do my Mexican because those were the most popular. But now, the fact that I play a Venezuelan mom is because one of the writers is Venezuelan, right? So behind the scenes, it's happening where she's not writing a Mexican because she doesn't know Mexican culture well enough. So she's writing a Venezuelan versus somebody writing a Cuban or even Arab. Is it Egypt? Is it Yemen? Is it like what are we talking here? How specific do we get? And so I think that when behind the scenes get specific, then casting can or not get a little more specific. And I feel like that's where we're understanding the importance of diversity instead of just like having it be this thing.
Because it's rude. It's not like you go like just do a European accent, and you're like, yo, I'm from Belgium, like, what German, whatever. Just do the thing.
Yeah.
And I wonder about that with the Asian community as well. Like,
Absolutely.
it's, Japan, China, Vietnam, very different countries, and different sounds, different cultural, touchstones, and yeah, I just as a just regular ass white person. But it's true, like even with like Australia, my dad's Australian, my mom's English, it's not the same. It's not the same. They're very far away, and so I'm excited to see more diversity in acting in general, and just more representation of people. So it's not just kind of a monolith of just like, oh yeah, we're gonna just go with this kind of trope. It's gonna be specifics.
Yeah.
I think that goes for the queer community as well. Like JP Carliak was to get people from the queer community voice actor training so that they can start to cast that appropriately as well. Right. It's like all of these wonderful changes are happening, and it's about time.
Yeah. Because gay, is not trans. Is there are different stories, and it's really important to, I think, as we all move kind of into this new era, it's really important to, and we're not in a position so much to make those decisions, but I'm really hopeful that people will be like, who's the best person to tell this story?
Yeah.
Who's the best person? Whose story is this?
Yeah.
Not who's the most popular, not who, but, to honor those stories of everyone,
Well, it's like you said, it's like getting the writers' rooms stacked up with
That's the
people
thing.
who are not the people we typically hear stories from, right? Like the main character for the Owl House, she is Dominican because she is based on one of the artists who is a Dominican woman named Luz. Like it's based on this woman, and because of that, they were able to include references and the language and things that wouldn't be there if it was just written by a white person.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so important to realize that there's so much more human experience than what we have seen up until now.
And also,
Absolutely.
like, it's great to kind of, like, speaking as Whitey Whiterson, it's great to get, like, a guide into other people's cultures, I like the fact that, hopefully that things will be written and somehow that I will be able to get to watch these things and read these things and be able to step into someone else's culture and it's going to have this ripple effect on how we treat other people. I mean, it breaks my heart right now that people are so anti other people's culture, because to me, like, getting to eat food that I don't know, listening to music that I don't know is like, it's like transporting yourself somewhere you've never been before. And I think it's it's intriguing and it piques my curiosity. And I just hope that as more of this stuff happens and gets produced, that we'll all have more curiosity about other people instead of being afraid of them.
Well, this ties into a question that someone wrote in the chat. Courtney Taylor is Whitey Whiterson. This is all on Fox. Thanks, Jim. It was
White Whiterson in the house. I am half Australian and half English. It does not get any better.
It was way earlier, but it was, have you ever, been recording a character where their trajectory is going in a way that you don't agree with, and what have you done? And I feel like that could happen, like, if they're like, oh, I'm playing a Colombian, and they're like, well, she needs to do this, and we have the opportunity to say, hey, actually.
Or just a woman.
Or a woman, yeah. Like, what, you want to?
Well, I have a good one. I have a
She's
really good
hold
one.
it.
Hold my purse. All right, so I was booked on a scripted podcast, and it was going to be like 9 episodes or something, and we did the audition. You don't get a lot of information right away, right? You get the audition piece, like, great. Puerto Rican, awesome, did the whole thing, and as, we're going to have the next several weeks, there's going to be like one recording a week, and we get our scripts beforehand, and the other 3 actresses that were on it with me, we all like got together and text. I'm reading the scripts, and they're getting worse and worse by the week. And I was like, I can't do this. And there would be certain things that while we would be recording, I'd say, hey, I'm not going to say this because it's offensive. You know what I mean? And it's not, and I'm not one of them. I'm not like one of the idea, like, oh, everything has to be like this perfection, or like you have to be almost sterile when it comes to art. That's not what I'm about. I'm about like being current enough to know, like, this is something that you're writing in there that made no sense, and it comes from somebody that, like, I'm trying really hard not to make specifics here. I'm trying really hard. It's very outdated, and unfortunately, the writer, very outdated. And I said it in a very, like, kind of way. I was like, hey, so this doesn't feel right to me. I'm happy to help you try to figure it out. We had one of the actresses who's queer, and the way that she was represented, she's like, this doesn't feel, this feels very outdated.
This is offensive.
It's just very outdated, like so outdated. And the producer, he did not like when us 4 women kind of stood up for the fact that we were not happy with the content. I was happily fired, and they finished. They actually they recorded the last episode with somebody else. I was totally fine. We have a great agent who I talked to, and we had lots of conversations about this. He's like, I have no problem with you, because they wanted like a second season. I'm like, I'm not doing a second season. Yeah. I don't ever want to work with these. Like, it was a very toxic environment, and it's gone nowhere. It's been years. So it's not easy.
So you weren't able to switch that trajectory. It was and you just were like, yeah, fire me. Who cares?
I honestly did not care. And maybe in my 20s, I would not have been so outspoken, and I would not have been as fervent in my beliefs with what I will and won't do with this, or I would have been more, not maybe fervent, but just more scared. I was not able to like speak up as much. But now I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. This is my name. This is my career. Yeah. And it was like really, a nice big old pile of empty bucks. Yeah. But yeah.
Ladies,
I mean, I've been in sessions where they're like, can you be Asian?
Oh, wow.
And like my husband is Asian. Nope. That's not an accent I'm gonna throw on.
What was they accent?
Yeah. I also like.
How long ago was this?
This was 8 or 9 years ago. I was like right when I got here.
Like, this was yesterday. What?
I know.
Luckily it's gotten a lot better. But there's also been times where like I was in England, and the company that makes a game out there, they were like, hey, come by. Since you're out here, we'd love to have you do a voice in our game. And I was like, killer, that'd be awesome. So I went to the studio, and we recorded a couple of lines, and it was super rad. And then when it came out, the character was black, and like. I had no idea. And, they're like, yeah, you can put it on Twitter. And I'm like, I'm not talking about this fucking anywhere. Sorry. No, this was 6 years ago. So like, wow. It's a frustrating aspect of the industry where I feel like so often voiceover is like, it's the last thing to get put in. Let's just cram some stuff in there and pretend it's, it's all good. And you do the accent, great. But it is changing. It is getting better.
Getting better.
Yeah.
And even actors are being very aware of, we want the opportunities, but if they ask us to audition for an Afro-Latina, I say, I'm going to pass on this, but actually can I recommend some Afro-Latinas I know? Because they should be auditioning and they're not because I've asked them. So, that's the kind of stuff that needs to be happening.
I got an audition, not for a character, but to do the trailer for Coming to America, the sequel with Eddie Murphy. And I was like, you don't want me on this.
Yeah.
You know who you do want. You want Nicole J. Butler. You want Sherry Vanden Heuvel. You want, giving them names of
this is why I also love the voice acting community is people like you and all of you are the same way. Whereas truly, it's what?
I was just reading a voice actor's name, Gabe Kunda.
Oh, yeah. And you will do that. You've pitched me for stuff. You've pitched her. You've pitched everybody. And the same, the other way around, we reciprocate that because we get our community. We know, who we are. Thankfully, we have a lot of good, amazing diversity in this community. So it's like, hey, not the person for you, but here's a wonderful pattern of great artists that would be perfect for your project. So that's the cool part about it too.
Sorry, Krizia, I didn't hear if you had turned around a crazy audition and made it sound like something that wasn't expected.
Was this the question from before?
With Jen, yeah, just like, have you ever done something outlandish in an audition that you think it might not work, but I don't care?
Actually, y'all might kill me, but it was my very first audition ever as a voice actor, first audition ever. And I remember I had been studying for a very, very long time. And at the time, this goes back to your story too, Sophia Regatta, because she's a staple for us.
Right.
This was a decade ago. So this was before she was on Modern Family. And only the people in the Latin community knew who she was.
Yeah.
So people didn't really know, but they were like, but I feel like I had done my voice, which is my Latin voice my Latina from Miami, from my family.
I do Latina voices all the time. I don't mind doing Sofia Vergara. For this one, I was like, let's do it. We all have our, we do the thing or we do the thing,
Yeah, I get you. And there's very different ones. So I had been studying for a long time and I had that was a voice that I had in my back pocket. But at the time, the reason I say Sophia, because it wasn't popular to do accents.
Right.
It wasn't popular, especially in commercials, to do Tina, I got some Fire Emblem Hero fans in the house. It wasn't popular to do those kind of voices. Right now, you get asked Sophia all the time. So, but my coach was like, you do this voice really great, and it comes with a whole attitude and personality that is a really fun perspective that you should have. I was like, all right, whatever, I'm never going to use this, but I'm going to put it in my back pocket. Okay. My first audition comes in, and it's for, I don't know if y'all remember this, but Old Navy used to have these supermodelkins that wouldn't move, but they would talk, and they'd talk about the jeans and whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
And so I auditioned for one of them, and I used my Latina voice, and I was like, I forgot right now, it's so long ago, I'm not gonna do it. But I ended up booking it. It was a whole campaign for a whole year, and it was my first job. And I was like, "This is voiceover commercial campaigns."
Yes.
So yeah, I fell in love with that. But it was something that I was like, "What do I have to lose? Let me try it. And I did, and it worked. And I did that for Casagrandes too. They weren't asking for a Cuban character for that. They were just asking for a Latina. And I was like, I'm gonna do my aunt and my mom.
Sometimes we do them. We gotta flavor it.
And I put people that I know and I infuse it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? But hey, you try it.
Evil Snotbag, hi Frida. We were talking about how much we love you before we jumped on the stream here. We were all saying so much we love you.
And you're rad.
She's asking if we encounter a lot of sexism nowadays, and I would say,
I got a story.
It's less overt, but it's more like dead women as entertainment. Like, I'm really tired of the dead chick as entertainment type stuff, and it's getting
in animation.
Yeah, what do you
less
think about
animation,
that?
more games, obviously.
Oh yeah.
I think animation is opening up a bit in different ways because the stories are being told, but games can get pigeonholed real fast.
Yeah.
And Courtney and I were both in a game together that will not be named at the moment, but we were the only two females in it, and of course we had to make out. You know what I mean?
Duh. What do women do when they're together?
Yeah, it's
That's what we're gonna do when we
things
get
like
off
that.
the street.
We're seeing a lot less like, oh,
help me.
Damsel in distress.
And I need a strong man to save me.
But it is still some shit out there.
Do you have a surprise? What?
Oh, no.
No, she's just,
Here it goes.
Oh,
guys, she's organizing closets. Oh no, Pritzia does that. Sorry.
I do.
So as we wrap up, is there like, I clocked a question, like Meow Indeed asked, how as friends of voice actors, or how can we support? She's asking, or they're asking, how they can support voice actors with their friends. How do our friends and family support us when we need it the most? I think that's a really great question. And anything that we'd like to throw in, that, to round off this first What the Box hang.
I would say first off, if you guys enjoyed this, let us know. Because we're, like I said, we're trying to see if we can do this like a monthly type of thing. If it's interesting, if it's not, totally get it. What was the other question?
How does your husband or your kids support you during crazy, besides be quiet while you're in the closet recording?
Wine, expensive gifts.
So support us with expensive gifts. Okay.
Shoes.
Honestly, understanding that this job is unpredictable as all hell and last minute, and there are times when I've been with my kids and I got a call from my agent. He's like, "You got to be in Hollywood in 30 minutes," and I'm like, "Here, bye." And I went and did a Jeep commercial and
Pay bills.
Pay for your mortgage.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
That's actually a huge one, is understanding flexibility. I feel like in the beginning, some people, I always tell, especially newer friends or people that don't really know, I was like, hey, so if I can't, I will always make plans, and always I have like a little tagline. I was like, something comes up, I'll let you know, but I have it penciled in, and it doesn't mean that I'm like Miss Fancy Pants here, but it's just the way it is, it's just kind of, it's not a hobby,
it's
a
a career.
It's a career.
Yes.
And I also want to say sul to all my Simlish friends
Sul.
on there.
Yehuna Barbie.
I've done that challenge on the TikTok. I know. I've been working my Simlish.
I think I proposed to you.
You did. Oh, you see?
Ridiculous.
Amazing.
I love it.
But if you like the talks, let us know.
Follow us.
Follow us on the things. I'm Sissy Speaks on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Sissy Jones Speaks on TikTok. You can't search me because apparently my name is Hate Speech.
Denny has them all down here. Guys, they're right below in the,
Oh, she's got it there.
but it's hate speech?
What?
Sissy, Cissy,
Right.
is apparently derogatory towards cisgendered effeminate men, which I just learned this week. So I feel like all of my childhood bullies have won.
Oh, no, screw that. You take it, that is your name. And
Yeah,
that
no,
your name has.
Anyway, if you know somebody at TikTok,
Have them call me.
it's a mess. Anyway,
But you changed your tag then.
no, it's Sissy Jones. It's my name. It's Sissy.
Oh, I thought they blocked
Just
you.
change it.
No, I thought
Just
they-
change your name.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Anyway,
Well, let's keep up with that, guys. Because I was trying to search you, but I couldn't find you on TikTok. I'm not great at TikTok. We'll talk about that later. Grandma, I love TikTok.
TikToks, like the TikToks.
Never been on there.
I thought Brazilians said tiki-talkie, but they say TikTok. Sorry, Danny. I'm working on my Brazilian over here. Guys, we need to shout out. We need to shout out the awesome Daniele Brito in Rio de Janeiro. She takes care of all this amazingness, and I couldn't do it without her. Guys, just stay tuned. We're always announcing fun stuff on Instagram or Twitch or all the things. Twitter. Check out Owl House, play Ratchet and Clank, watch the Casa Grandes. It's all happening there.
Go to nerdsvote.com.
Go to
We didn't even talk about
nerdsvote.com.
that, but nerdsvote.com, you guys
For the
make
next
sure that
What the
you're
Box.
registered
Registered.
and ready to vote in every election every time. Por favor, Lily.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you're interested in voice acting, check out Voiceover Camp. I
Voiceover
teach
camp.
with a lot of wonderful people here.
And
Booty
bliss-
parts, take notes.
And blisses.
And the bliss. Bye. Guys, keep booping and booping.
Bye.
Bye. Thank